How's it going, everyone? My name is True Wonder Dog, and today we'll be discussing Variation 3 for Shao Kahn. Please request which character you want next, and keep in mind when the patch does drop, there will be slight frame adjustments and also some damage changes as well. So without any further ado, let's get started. In this new variation, Shao Kahn has two new moves. He has Spear Charge, and he has Skewered, which is more or less an anti-air. First up, let's talk about Spear Charge. Now this move is your go-to combo extender, and it's pretty good at that. You do have to dash a little bit, and sadly you can't do a jump-in combo, but still semi-decent damage, 27%. If you want a combo that's a bit more challenging, you can dash forward and do 4, and then do Skewered, and as you can see, not a ton more damage, but Skewered is the best way to end combos most of the time. Now my one issue with this move is you do have to commit to spinning the bar before it actually hits, so you can't hit the opponent and then enhance it. Instead, you have to hold down the button right away, and if it hits, you get the enhanced version. In fact, even if it misses or is blocked, you've still spent the bar, so you do have to commit to this move, and that can be a bit frustrating. But it's still a pretty good way to extend combos. You just gotta be a bit more careful with it, because if not, you wasted the bar. Now if you don't amplify it, it's got pretty darn good reach, and it does hit mid, so the opponent can't duck under it. I think max distance is right around here. So a pretty good range, right? Not a terrible move by any means, and knocks the opponent pretty far away. Typically not what you want, but the one benefit is there are perfect range now for your spear. And if you land 3 of these, of course you get the crushing blow and all that good stuff. So if you do want to get the opponent away for whatever reason, you don't spin the bar, and now they're a perfect distance for your projectile, so that could be one strategy with this build. And since this move is plus 33 on hit, make no mistake, they have to deal with this projectile. They definitely do. In fact, in theory, you can dash forward a little bit too, because you have tons of time. So it's honestly not a bad pressure tool, especially if the opponent is cornered. Let's go ahead and check this out, because I didn't even think about it until now. But if you were to end your combo with this, oh my gosh, look at all that frame advantage. 33 frames to do whatever you want. That's honestly enough time probably. Oh yeah, they pretty much have to deal with me. That's crazy. So I can be airborne, and they can't even anti-air me. They could go for a wake up for sure, but outside of that, if I land this move, I can just get a jump. That's pretty crazy, and if that lands, pretty good damage in the corner with Skewered. So this move in the corner is fantastic for frame advantage, and once again from mid-screen, it can be pretty good for setting up some zoning or keep away, or just trying to guarantee the opponent has to block this projectile. Now this move isn't the best on block, that is one of its downsides, so I'll have Raiden block right here. The move is minus 17 on block, so very punishable, but if spaced correctly, it's going to be tough for a lot of characters to punish. I'm pretty far away right now, so if I space it, a lot of characters can't punish me. It's one of those Sub-Zero Noob Saibot situations. So Noob Saibot has a mid that's very unsafe, but it has so much distance, most characters can't actually punish it unless they have a very fast special move. And it's similar to Shao Kahn. If you space this move correctly, it's going to be very character specific, but only a few opponents can actually punish this. However, if you don't space it properly, it's Punish City because you're right in the opponent's face. So you do want to be careful when using this move, but the reason I do bring up how good it is if you space it correctly is because of Skewered. So Skewered is now your go-to combo ender, and it's also of course a fantastic anti-air. Now with that said, Shao Kahn already has down 2, which is a fantastic anti-air, and he also has standing 1, which is also a pretty darn good anti-air as well. So he doesn't really need Skewered for anti-airing. Instead, it's better for ending combos. The only condition is the opponent has to be airborne, but thankfully, a lot of Shao Kahn's moves already do that, so not very bad for ending combos. And on hit, this move is plus 19. Very, very good stuff, and due to its spacing, it is pretty much perfect for this move. Bam. Really, really good for that. I haven't gotten the timing down yet, but in theory, they have to respect this move. If they block it, you are very minus, but if they don't do anything else, they will get hit by this. No counterattack's really going to work due to the frame advantage on hit. And also, even more exciting, in theory you can do this. Now there is actually a tiny gap there, unfortunately. The opponent doesn't have to respect this. Even without an invincible wake up, they could squeeze out a crouching 1 or a standing 1 and actually interrupt this move in theory. Though once again there may be some frame data adjustments, so maybe when the patch comes out, it's going to be even better on hit. But as of right now, there is a tiny gap here. If you subtract your hit advantage from your startup, there is still a tiny gap there and the opponent could interrupt you. But even so, I think this move is fantastic for pressure, especially online. And once again, if you have the opponent cornered, it's going to be even better, because now you have so much frame advantage to do pretty much whatever you want, and the opponent's going to be very scared. It's going to be a very great move in the corner. And to make things even better, this move is also great for extending combos as well. The only condition is the opponent has to be airborne, but man, it's pretty darn good. The only thing I don't like is you are forced to switch sides, but the combo damage is pretty darn nice. Look at that, 29%, no effort. No effort whatsoever, got pretty decent damage there. And if you were to combine it with the other move, you get some pretty decent combos. The problem once again is you switch sides, and a lot of the time you don't want to do that. So I gave up the corner there, but I got 37% for 2 bars. Not too shabby. And in the corner, you can easily get around 38% with just 1 bar because you have that corner advantage. So on top of being a decent anti-air and a great way to end combos, if you want to spin the bar, this can be a fantastic way to extend combos as well. So it's an all-around decent move, honestly one of his better moves if you ask me, so I'm glad we have it in this variation. So overall, I think this build is going to be great for Rushdown because it has really good frame advantage on a lot of the stuff you land. So Skewered, great frame advantage. Spear Charge also great frame advantage. So if you like to Rushdown in Shao Kahn, it's going to be a very good move. Now some of the best setups right now do have a gap in them as of yet, but it still seems like a fantastic build for rushing down the opponent, especially in the corner because this move has so much frame advantage, plus 33 on hit. In the corner, that's going to be a nightmare. The one thing I did forget to mention is the hitbox on this thing can be very, very literal and therefore very frustrating. I was trying some corner combos with it and it was just upsetting me because it would miss when I felt like it shouldn't have. So right there. I feel like right there I went right through the opponent and it still missed. So it's not very good for extending combos in the corner all the time. There are ways to do it. If I'd been simple, I could have got it right there. But I wanted to be a bit fancier and the game just wouldn't let me because the hitbox is kind of iffy. It's far too literal. The spear itself is basically the hitbox, so if that spear doesn't hit, you're in a lot of trouble. And since Shao Kahn himself does fly forward, it's very easy to miss because his body is actually hitting you and not the spear. So it doesn't have the best hitbox and therefore not the best for corner combos, but thankfully we do have Skewered for that, which is honestly fantastic. So while he doesn't have the best combo damage in this build, I think his pressure might make up for it because these moves are crazy good on hit. Now is this new build the best variation for Shao Kahn? It's too early to say, but it doesn't look like it as of yet. I think his shoulder charge is just really good for corner carry, especially off of anti-airs, and this build is going to be great for that too. But I don't think you can even extend after a throw crushing blow. I should actually check that out. Let's go ahead and see. I'm not sure if that even works anymore. No, it doesn't seem to reach. Oh my goodness. So Spear Charge is just right out. Well, can I dash forward and do Skewered? I can. Okay, so you do still have options off of the throw. You just gotta be a bit more creative. I may not even have to dash. Let's see. I don't. So the damage you get off of that forward crushing blow might actually be easier now. Look at that, 43%. So even though Spear Charge doesn't work because it's not fast enough, you could just do Skewered and you don't even have to dash. So you know what, I take it back. It's gonna be really good for that. I think this build can get more damage in some ways, but for the most part its combo damage is a lot lesser. But even so, you have crazy good frame advantage on a lot of stuff, so I think it'll be great for pressure, and I also think it benefits Shao Kahn's zoning as well. So if we're talking strictly tournament, I think this build might be tied with the other variation with the shoulder charge. I think it might be just as good. So if I go to that, which I have set to variation 1, we're gonna go ahead and see why. So online, I think this build is still superior because it has so many gimmicks like the hammer toss. So a lot of people don't know about this online as of yet because typical players just don't research this kind of thing. But if you block this move, you can actually uppercut me in the gap, which is a really big deal. If I do this, you can uppercut me and give me more damage than I give to you. It's still a trade, but it's worse for me every single time. So unless I have the life lead, I don't want to do this. But online, it's so good for shenanigans. People get caught by it all the time. You go for this move, if it's blocked, do this, and it catches so many players off guard, and a lot of them don't know what it's like on block either. So once they block it, you just throw them and they don't know it's their turn, so it's very good for that as well. It's a very gimmicky move. So I think against the average online player, this build is still superior, but in terms of tournament, I think they're fairly even right now. Once again, very early to say, but I do think this third variation does have some potential. Not to mention, they only listed 2 moves, and there is still 1 slot open. So I'm wondering if Shao Kahn might get something else, possibly an air hammer or some other projectile of that nature. There honestly aren't many moves left that aren't already used in the other variations, so I'm very curious to see what they pick in that third slot, if anything at all. But in summary, I think this build is very solid. It has crazy frame advantage on hit, so it's great for Rushdown, and while the combo damage is lesser for the most part, it's not a very big deal. My main gripe is that you do have to switch sides in some situations, but outside of that, Pretty darn solid build, and I can't wait to see what pro players do to it. I'm looking at you, video games, yo. But please let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And while you're down there, please leave a like if you enjoyed the video. It really does help my channel out a ton. Once again, please request which character you want next and subscribe for more videos. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.